Hello everyone and welcome to another video. My name is Matt and this is Code Journey. In this video I will teach you how to install, configure and first use your SQL Management Studio in order to access and modify a database. To download SQL Server, you can just search on Google download SQL Server and click on the second result. Once we get here, we can see all the options that we have. We can try the free trials for SQL Server on premises, the SQL Server on Azure, and at the edge, or we can go to a free specialized edition, one that is for development only. This is the full experience of SQL Server, but only for development purposes and not for being put up on production on a system for a client, for example. Or you can try the Express version that is a little bit limited, but it allows you to do everything. You can actually deploy and create a server with this version in production and sell the system to a client and so on, and it is free and completely fine. You will be missing a couple of features from the full version of SQL, but I think it is good enough for a start. We are going to install Express for this tutorial. If you feel you are missing out on something, you can install the developer one, and then if you want to buy it, you can do it. So click download now on the Express one, and it will download the installer. We can click it and give it a second so it loads. Basically, it will take you to this installer that is pretty straightforward. Just click on the basic installation. You have to agree by clicking accept and select the location. Usually the default is fine. Just install, and it will take a while to download everything and install. And this is the perfect moment to tell you that if you want to be a better developer, you should subscribe to this channel to get more content that will help you get there. Okay, the installation just finished. It will show you the connection string and a couple of things if you want to save them. If not, there is no problem. You can recreate or get all this info. And then you will want to install SSMS. That is basically the Management Studio. That is the application that will be the UI, the interface to work with our database. And that is what I will show you in the rest of this tutorial. So click install SSMS. It will take you to the download SQL Server Management Studio from Microsoft, and then just click on this link, download SQL Server Management Studio. Give it a couple minutes. Once the download finishes, just click on the setup, and you will get presented with something like this. Microsoft SQL Server Management Studio with Azure Data Studio. Just click on install, and again, give it a couple minutes. Give it actually a lot of minutes because this installation is pretty long. Go take a coffee and come back. Great, it's just finished installing everything. Now we can close the setup and run the SQL Management Studio. The application will take a bit to load the first time because it has to configure some things. But after that, we should be presented with the UI of SQL Server Management Studio. The first thing you need to do is actually connect to your local server. You can use Windows Authentication and it will automatically log you based on your user. Just click connect. Great. Once you connect, you will get this Object Explorer tab on the left. You can expand this or shrink it the way you prefer it. And you will see that this is organized in a tree with folders. Basically, the most important one and the one that we will working on today is for databases. Then you have security for users and such, server objects, replication, and so on. If you expand the databases, you will get presented with two folders and nothing else if this is the first time you run this. To create a database, you can just right-click over the databases folder and click on New Database. That will prompt you with this modal that allows you to create a database. So basically we can do a tutorial SQL, that is the name, and you can check if you want to modify the way the database grows using this, but it is okay. Just for starting out, the defaults are fine. Just click OK, and that will create you your first database. You can now expand your database and you will see that there are more folders, database diagrams, tables, views, and so on. The first thing that you will want to do is to create a table, and you can do this by right-clicking over the table folder and select New Table, and that will prompt you with this panel on the right side that allows you to create each column definition for your new table. So basically, I don't know, we can put an ID, that will be a numeric 18, and it won't allow nulls. Then we can have a name, and that will be an varchar of 50, for example, and doesn't allow nulls. And then we can have a date of sign up and use a date time, maybe. That that will be fine. We can allow nulls there for some reason. And when you click save or Control S to save the table, it will ask for a name, and you can say, I don't know, users, and just click OK. And it will create your very first table. Notice that this tree doesn't update itself automatically. You have to select it and refresh or use F5, and now you can see your brand new table in here, dbo.users. You can right click this and select the edit top 200 rows, and that will take you to a view that allows you to enter data, to insert data into this table. So for example, we can insert an ID1 with a name of Sean Doe and a sign up of 1/1/2020. And that creates the first record in our table. We can create a couple more. Mary Shane on the 2/2 of 2020. And yeah, a note in here is that you can do all of this with SQL commands, with code. You can create a new database, you can create a table, you can define the columns, you can insert data, but that is definitely a topic for another video. If you want to learn more about SQL and how to create this stuff on code and how to query and such, leave a comment below, leave a like, and let me know that you will want me to do that tutorial, and I will for sure get to it. Once we get all of this done, we can actually select the top 1,000 rows from this, and it will automatically create the select for us. In this case, it's pretty straightforward. We can just write it, and you will see that this is the actual query window where you can use all the SQL commands and get the result in the bottom panel. In this case, it just does a select top 1000 of the 3 columns of the table from the database and the table that we just defined. And you can see that the result is the 2 records that we just created, Sean Doe and Mary Shane, with a sign-up date. The way to modify this and execute, for example, let's say that we don't want to know the date, we just want a report that has the ID and the names from all employees, maybe not even the top 1,000, but actually all of them. In this case, it will be the same result because there are only 2. But then you can just modify your script and click on the execute, press F5 or even Alt-X. All 3 of those do the same, and that is basically execute whatever is in this panel and show you the result in the bottom panel below. You can modify the way the results are presented to you. In this case, the default is results to grid, but you can change it to results to text, and you can see that the result is very different. This way you can copy all of this into a file or a spreadsheet or whatever you want. So it is a different way to view the data, and you can pick whichever is best for what you are doing. You can also save any query that you create. Just for the sake of showing you how to execute a couple of commands in the same query file and see the results, let's write an insert into this table. Insert into we can write the whole thingy, tutorial SQL.dbo.users, values, and we will provide the values. In this case, the ID will be 4. We didn't do the auto-incremental ID, that is a topic for another video. A name of testing, because I cannot think of another name right now, and a date of 3/3/2020. And now we can run all of this together, and it will insert into the users table and then do the select to show us the result. If we just execute everything, you can see that we got added our user with the name testing and the ID 4, and everything is run. You can then save this into a SQL file in your folder of your project and have your queries, your inserts, and everything related to your database. That's it for this tutorial. I hope you learn a couple of things, you get your environment installed, and you can start working with your databases using SQL Management Studio. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next one.